Well, what's better than closing out 2020 on the German football calendar with a do-or-die DFB-Pokal tie, maybe one that also doubles as a local derby, and that's exactly what's on offer tonight at the Mercedes-Benz Arena as Freiburg put the Baden-Württemberg bragging rights on the line against Stuttgart. These sides met on match day 1 in the Bundesliga. It was Freiburg who raced into a 3-0 lead. Stuttgart pulled 2 goals back late on in the second half. Wasn't enough to take a share of the spoils. But it was Freiburg who, as a result, drew first blood in this renewed Baden-Württemberg rivalry in Germany's top tier tonight in the Cup. They go head-to-head for a place in the round of 16. Mark-Oliver Kemp finding Kalajic. He scored the first of Stuttgart's 2 goals in that 3-2 defeat. Silas Wamangituka getting the other one. Stuttgart's top scorer this season. Not in the matchday squad, Silas Wamangituka. Kemp finding Mangala, trying to move it on quickly to Gonzalez, caught on his heels. An early sign of intent, though, from Stuttgart that they want to bounce back from that defeat to Wolfsburg on Sunday. A tactical tweak tonight from Pellegrino Matarazzo. They switched to a 4-man backline against the Wolves. Tonight reverting back to a 3-man defensive setup. As a result, it's Tanguy Koulibaly and Nicolas Gonzalez who are playing in the wing-back roles. Here is Koulibaly. Certainly been one of the positive surprises for this Stuttgart side, the young Frenchman. Two goals to his name already this season. Impressively, though, those goals coming against Bayern and Borussia Dortmund, no less. Even at 19 years of age, Tanguy Koulibaly proving a man for the big moments. And tonight's another one. Benjamin Uphoff, signed in the summer from Karlsruhe SC. Tonight making his 5th appearance in the DFB-Pokal. He has kept 1 clean sheet in his previous 4. All those games coming whilst on the books with Karlsruhe. Kalajic, nice little turn. Klimovic, cheeky back heel. Freiburg right now trying to assess and read exactly when they can press to try and force mistakes out of this Stuttgart side, who have started this game by dominating the lion's share of possession. This is the 5th meeting between these 2 sides in the DFB-Pokal. Stuttgart won the first 3 encounters in Germany's sole cup competition. It's Freiburg who won the most recent match, which incidentally came in the 2nd round of the 2013-14 campaign. Will lightning strike twice in the 2nd round? Calls from Streich to close the passing channels there. Something that Freiburg have been working on in recent weeks, especially when opponents encroach upon the final third. Here's Orel Mangala injecting a bit of pace into the game. Jong does well under pressure. He had no real options at his disposal. Tried to find Grifo, well seen by Koulibaly. And Valdemar Anton bringing the ball forward, the man signed from Hanover in the summer. Tonight making his 12th appearance for Stuttgart. Stuttgart have worked it well here to Tanguy Koulibaly. Back to Castro. He's come all the way through to Kempf. He's going to line one up, and well, that looked like a very decent effort from Marc-Oliver Kempf. Hit it true. Philipp Lienhardt got his body in the way. Half-hearted appeals from the Stuttgart players for a handball. But it looked like Lienhardt had his arms up against his body at the very least. Castro and Koulibaly. Arguably the perfect depiction of what this Stuttgart side are all about. A nice balance of experience and youth. Freiburg starting to push a little bit higher with the press. Being urged on by Christian Streich on the sidelines. Stuttgart again work the ball well through midfield, and it's that final pass letting them down. Gunter cuts it out. Now looking for the 1-2 with Grifo, but Grifo's going the opposite direction. Finds Jonathan Schmid. Schmid's continued his run forward here. Höhler outnumbered in the middle. Santa Maria with the header. Wins it again, does the Frenchman. Pellegrino Matarazzo there. Said before the game it's not going to be easy to win. Said he felt his side were going to have to play to the limit and invest everything into the game, and they've started very strongly, it has to be said. So they haven't really given Freiburg too much cause for concern. A lot of possession. Haven't done a lot with it in the opening exchanges here. Freiburg certainly seem to be set up to absorb pressure and maybe break on the counter.
Christian!
83% possession so far for Stuttgart, with just over 8 minutes played. Interestingly, they've lost each of their last 6 DFB-Pokal ties against Bundesliga opposition. Stuttgart, that is. The most recent encounter coming in the round of 16 last season when they suffered a 2-1 loss to Bayer Leverkusen. It's a run, actually, that dates back all the way to the 2013 final when Stuttgart lost 3-2 against Bayern. Lienhardt forced to go long. And that's the extent of the spell of possession for Freiburg. Tried to work it around at the back, an intricate pass over to Lienhardt, but immediately he's closed down and takes the better safe than sorry approach and pumps it long to no avail. as well, just to marshal the ball out of play up against Koulibaly. Back in the starting lineup tonight, Dominic Heinz. Christian Günther, the Freiburg captain, he was actually one of 3 Freiburg players that were on the books the last time these two sides met in the DFB-Pokal back in 2013. A reminder, Freiburg grabbed a 2-1 win on that occasion. Matthias Ginter and Mike Hanke getting the goals. Vedad Ibisevic grabbed a consolation effort for Stuttgart in the 86th minute, but it wasn't enough. Günther, along with Schmid and Niklas Höfler, the 3 players that are still with Freiburg. Stuttgart, you look at their squad from that day and it's virtually unrecognizable to the one you see today. Vedad Ibisevic, Mohamed Abdullahi, William Kvist, Christian Gentner, Martin Harnik, Antonio Rudiger, the Germany international, Timo Werner on the bench as well. Some big names in that Stuttgart side. In fact, is this current iteration under Pellegrino Matarazzo are starting to make a name for themselves as well. Gonzalez, very difficult to control. He almost did it brilliantly. He just got a toe ahead of him. It's another pass looking for Lucas Höhler that doesn't find its way through the channels. Poor first touch from Kalajic, but it almost broke kindly in the end for Klimovic. He lost sight of the ball. Uphoff didn't. Uphoff, incidentally, a former Stuttgart player himself. Spent the 2014-15 campaign on loan with Stuttgart's reserve sides and joined the club permanently in 2015. Spent 2 years with them before joining Karlsruhe. Chance for Freiburg to make something happen in the final third for the first time tonight. Grifo. He is the talisman, the source of creativity and threat. He's been in fine form recently as well, Vincenzo Grifo. And that is a vintage challenge, I think it's fair to say, from Niklas Höfler, a no-nonsense midfielder. Niklas Höfler, he is the longest-serving player on the Freiburg books. He's been with them since 2010. Grifo, lovely control. Jong and Höhler are the runners, but Grifo forced to play horizontally as opposed to vertically. Stuttgart win back possession. Immediately you can see Freiburg just dropping back, but there's no real urgency from Stuttgart to try and break the lines quickly. They're allowing Freiburg time to regain their shape and stay organised. Right now it's down to the likes of Pascal Stenzel to break the lines. He's done it well there to find Mangala. Now with Koulibaly, pressured by Günther, snapping at his heels there, but Koulibaly comes away with it well. Passes on for Kalajic. He's found by Castro. Sasa Kalajic breaks the deadlock for Stuttgart with the first shot of the game. It was patient, but masterfully done by the home side. Stenzel broke the lines. It was worked well to Sasa Kalajic. Koulibaly deserves great credit as well. That pass from Castro, silky as you like, and the finish between the legs from Kalajic. Cheeky, but you've got to appreciate it. No attacking threat whatsoever from either side in the opening 14 minutes. But Stuttgart successfully lulled Freiburg into a false sense of security. And they strike with the first chance of the game. Lienhardt does well there at the back. Well, all eyes will be on him now, Sasa Kalajic. After opening the scoring, Freiburg's defenders will be paying close attention to him, but they didn't pay close enough attention as he ghosted off the shoulder of the last man. Lamented the fact that he was a fool for not putting himself in his own fantasy team after scoring a brace off the bench in the thrilling 2-2 draw with Union Berlin. Kalajic providing the heroics. Wasn't enough to earn him a starting berth against Wolfsburg, but enough to be in the first 11 tonight. And again, he's repaid the faith of Pellegrino Matarazzo with a goal. The instincts for goal scoring are definitely there with Kalajic. Here's Gonzalez. He's got a fair few of them as well. Deflection on the cross made it easy for Uphoff in the end. But the wind is certainly in Stuttgart's sails here at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Wait to see what the reaction from Freiburg will be like, but that's not quite the standards we hold Vincenzo Grifo to, as he gifts the ball away easily. Grifo had to be inventive, but just overcooked the pass, or perhaps Santa Maria misjudging the flight of the ball. Pascal Stenzel mentioned the fact that Benjamin Uphoff on the Freiburg side, the goalkeeper, is a former Stuttgart player. Pascal Stenzel and Marc-Oliver Kempf, well, they're players on the Stuttgart side with former Freiburg roots. Stenzel made 82 competitive appearances for Freiburg, scoring 2 goals before joining Stuttgart. Marc-Oliver Kempf, he had 73 appearances to his name. Here's Koulibaly in behind. Gonzalez on the turn. Kalajic on the stretch, but struggled to get enough power to truly trouble Uphoff. But this has been a very confident start from Stuttgart, and they're only growing in confidence. They have a 1-goal lead. The fact is, they've had almost 78% of the possession so far in the opening, almost 20 minutes here at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Those are not numbers that you would associate with a newly promoted side, but that is the philosophy that Pellegrino Matarazzo has brought in. We've lost the A in Bauhaus there. Put behind for a corner for Freiburg. And these are the types of positions that they will want to capitalize from, set pieces. Grifo, a master of the art when it comes to delivering from dead ball situations. Dominik Heinz, Kevin Schlotterbeck, Philipp Lienhardt, Lukas Höhler is in there. Schmid clipping it back in over the top. No takers underneath it, but it's back with Grifo now. No one closes him down. They give him free roam to whip in the delivery, but he couldn't pick out a teammate. And now Gonzalez, foot race with Höfler, but it was Benjamin Uphoff channeling his inner Manuel Neuer there. Spotted the danger early, quickly off his line to snuff it out. Bit of a complacent clearance there from Lienhardt, has played Freiburg into trouble. Gonzalez and Endo there, not quite on the same page, but they got away with it. Here is Gonzalez. Koulibaly making the run beyond the final man. Castro strikes now. Well, he fancied his chances. The man who set up the opening goal. On that occasion, not quite as proficient as a finisher as he was a provider. Christian Streich, never a man to hide his emotions on the sidelines, I think it's fair to say. I think the ease of the opening goal for Stuttgart in the way they played through the back line. Kalajic working the channels, Castro threading the needle. It won't have pleased Streich. Here is Kalajic, no one closing him down. Shot from range, blocked by Schlotterbeck. Schmid has to clear. But in doing so, immediately gives possession back to Stuttgart. And right now, Freiburg really struggling to find a release and an outlet. This ball should stay in play. Koulibaly gives chase, and he forces the mistake out of Schlotterbeck. Good pressure there from the young Frenchman. There's yet another moment that really speaks to the narrative of the fact that Stuttgart are really up for this tonight, and Freiburg, right now, slow out of the blocks, struggling to really get to grips with proceedings. Meanwhile, Stuttgart combining to great effect. Castro on the stretch, trying to get his toe to the ball. Gunther, that's a good run made. He's only got Höfler ahead of him. He tried to get past Anton. I think Dr. Felix Bricht there, the referee, had a long think about it. In the end, felt it wasn't enough to give a free kick. And based on the challenges he's allowed to go already this evening, I think it's fair to say that he's drawn a pretty good line of not being too soft when it comes to blowing the whistle. One of the most well-respected referees in German football. Klimovic gives chase and earns the corner. Appeals and protests from the Freiburg bench and the Freiburg players for the fact the foul wasn't given. Klimovic doing well to play to the whistle, as every youth coach around the world tells you to do. No rush from Gonzalo Castro. Get a nice aerial view of the Mercedes-Benz Arena tonight. Oh, Kalajic's got his head to the corner. Kemp trying to keep the chance alive, so too Kalajic, and it'll count as a shot on target, although a tame effort in the end, easily dealt with by Uphoff. He really is giving this Freiburg backline something to consider tonight, and they haven't really found a solution to the questions he's asking of them, Sasa Kalajic. One goal already. He's getting involved in the build-up play. Getting on the end of crosses. Gonzalez loses out in the one-on-one with Schmid. Santa Maria now. Höfler. Jong. Out to Schmid. Oh, it's a good delivery. Hurler was right there. Anton first to it, though. Castro losing out against Santa Maria. But a header from that type of range would have taken something special. Sven Mislintat there, the sporting director for Stuttgart. He signed a contract extension until 2023, just a couple of days ago. He said when he joined the club, he knew it would be a huge challenge. But he felt that his extension shows that despite the adversity the club has faced and that he has faced, that it proves that both are on the right path and that it's worth keeping the working relationship going, because he has been such a key figure in assembling this side and piecing it together. A team that has fostered so much more unity than we saw from Stuttgart in their relegation campaign in the 2018-19 season. They really were disjointed, a ragtag bunch of misfits that produced some good moments, but not consistently enough. And now it's Mateo Klimovic, who is certainly not moving very freely. We're going to stop in play for the time being. A chance for Pellegrino Matarazzo to issue a few instructions. I'm wondering what he's going to be making of this situation, because it appears as if Mateo Klimovic has thrown up on the pitch, the young 20-year-old Argentinian. And yes, in the current climate, they do need to clear that up. Not sure that'll do the job completely, but certainly getting some water in them and a bit of hydration will help. Half an hour played here, and I just wonder whether they'll consider bringing him off if he's struggling under the effects of an upset stomach of some sort. But you've got a feel for the young 20-year-old. Son of Diego Klimovic, a Bundesliga legend. Spent time on the books with VfL Bochum, Borussia Dortmund and Wolfsburg. 213 appearances in Germany's top flight, 70 goals scored. But hopefully, he'll be feeling a little bit better. Sometimes what they say, it's better out than in. Freiburg applying the press, but Stuttgart come away with it. Here is Klimovic. If you're of an uneasy disposition, maybe don't watch on here, because you can see here he certainly wasn't feeling very well. Not one of the more pleasant replays you'll see this season, admittedly. But again, proof that while these are highly paid professional footballers, they are humans at the end of the day. Pascal Stenzel intercepting the pass from Grifo. Half an hour played here. And it's Stuttgart who lead thanks to the goal from Sasa Kalajic. His 7th for Stuttgart. That's a nice ball over the top, looking for Castro. First touch let him down, and a hefty challenge, I'd say, there from Dominik Heinz, using his physique there. A bit of a mismatch against the more diminutive Castro. A robust challenge, but not enough to point to the spot. Though he needs to be a little bit careful about towing the line there, Dominik Heinz. Hurler with the flick on, but it's all too straight in the end, and arguably narrow for Freiburg. And it's Hurler that he's normally the one making the runs off the shoulder of the man winning the flick on in the air. Sasa Kalajic, the tallest player in the Bundesliga. Good press there from Kalajic. Castro trying to dance his way into the area again. Mangala working it in tight spaces, but losing out in the end. Couldn't put it through the legs of his marker. Long ball looking for Grifo. Stenzel does really well there against Grifo. He's playing really well against his former side tonight, Pascal Stenzel. Pascal Stenzel, who admitted that during the Bundesliga's hiatus, when the coronavirus pandemic first broke out, that he really got into his cooking. Couldn't name a specialty dish of his yet, but putting his time to good use in a culinary sense. Here is Stuttgart teammate Marc-Oliver Kempf, his fellow former Freiburg player. Koulibaly one-on-one with Gunter. Reverse pass. Well seen and dealt with in the end by Höfler, but his clearance wasn't convincing. Now Santa Maria. They're trying to work it through tight spaces, Freiburg, instead of just punting long. Keep running themselves into trouble, but when they look to release like now, Grifo immediately closed down by 4 around him. He draws the foul, which in the grand scheme of some of the challenges that have been put in today, that was one of the softer fouls that's been awarded by Dr. Felix Brich.
Jetzt kommen wir rüber auf die andere Seite. Geld gibt's auch nicht, aber nicht. Lohnt sich's ja nicht.
Yes, you can hear Christian Streich on the sidelines, yapping away, giving his opinions on the incident. Schmid, that was difficult to work. Brilliant play from Marc-Oliver Kempf under pressure, though, to release Gonzalez, and look how much space he has to run into. He's only got 2 ahead of him, Klimovic and Kalajic. Here is Kalajic. Just caught on his heels, and, well, you can see he was trying to make up for it, but that was a striker's tackle, if ever I've seen one. Trying to use the full extent of his long frame and those lanky legs to try and wrap it around Schlotterbeck.
Gut, Positionen. Wieder, jawohl. Dann nicht zu nah. Not too close.
A goal down with 10 minutes to play in the first half. The good news for Freiburg is only twice this season have they failed to score in matches. And that was both occasions against top-tier opposition in the Bundesliga. Match day 3, they suffered a 4-0 loss to Borussia Dortmund. Match day 7, it was a 3-0 loss to Leipzig. So no shame really in not scoring against those two sides. They weren't pleased with the results because Freiburg are a team that always wants to make big games a little bit more competitive. They really relish the underdog role when they can come up against one of the big boys and make life so difficult for them. Tonight, though, by their standards, they've been relatively timid here against Stuttgart. They've allowed the home side to really dictate the play for the most part. They tried absorbing pressure and breaking on the counter, but the counters weren't working. Meanwhile, for Stuttgart, the pressure told when Kalajic scored. The fact is, this is one of their most extended spells of possession we've seen from them. Just 27% of the ball tonight for Freiburg. It's a situation, admittedly, that's not unfamiliar for them. You've got to think, if they want to get into this game, they need to be making a bigger impact. Günther. It's another challenge won by Pascal Stenzel. Another chance to see Thomas Hitzelsberger. Got to be pleased with what he's seen from his side so far. A much improved performance from the 1-0 loss to Wolfsburg, where they really didn't get anything going in an attacking sense. Just one clear-cut chance. Fell to Nicolas Gonzalez following a cutback from Roberto Massimo. He had the goal at his mercy, didn't make a clean connection with the shot, and as a result, it allowed Marin Pongracic to clear off the line. And this is a Stuttgart side that have become known for scoring goals this season. In the Bundesliga, only Bayern München, Bayer Leverkusen and Union Berlin have scored more often than the newly promoted side after 13 games. It's their best tally since the 1997-98 campaign, when none other than Joachim Löw was in charge of the club, the now German national team head coach. That's a throwback if ever you've seen one. Speaking of a throwback, Gonzalo Castro. This season has been a throwback to some of his best form. 33 years of age, an assist already tonight. Constantly looking to get involved. He is the glue that keeps this Stuttgart side together. I think it's fair to say Christian Streich will be looking at this game and comparing and contrasting to the matchday 1 encounter. Freiburg, who stormed out to an early 2-goal lead in the first half of that one. Vincenzo Grifo then added a third just 3 minutes after the restart. It was a good thing he did as well, because Stuttgart came on strong in the second half and came very close to snatching a share of the spoils. In the end, they did leave empty-handed, but it was a nervy ending to the game for Freiburg in a situation that looked so comfortable for them. Tonight, though, it's Stuttgart who have taken the lead. It's Freiburg who are struggling to assert themselves in the final third. And once again, it's a performance from Stuttgart that really belies their status as a newly promoted side. This is a seasoned team, the way they're playing, stroking the ball about with such confidence, keeping the lines tight, pressing as a united front, and drawing mistakes out of their opponents. One here. Klimovic now looking to reach Kalajic, just couldn't work the channels there. Nice touch from Santa Maria as well. Now, Lienhardt clipping a win, looking for Hurler. Grifo was ready to latch onto the loose ball, but Tanguy Koulibaly says no. Freiburg have to settle for the corner. Fabian Bredow making his first start of the season. He has not been tested yet by Freiburg. Grifo goes long. Kevin Schlotterbeck the closest to it. Herfler. Jong attacks, but it's always going to struggle to win in the air against Valdemar Anton. Oh, Grifo with the header. Got up well there against Koulibaly. Another half chance for Freiburg, and that's what they've been limited to too often tonight, for their liking, I'm sure. Right now, I'm sure Freiburg fans will be thinking that this is a case of deja vu a little bit. In the DFB-Pokal, in 4 of the last 5 seasons, they've been knocked out in the second round. The teams to deal that fate to them were Union Berlin, Holstein Kiel, Sandhausen and Augsburg. So those are all teams that they'd have looked at and gone, you know what, we should have been beating them. Right now, though, you have to say, Freiburg can have very few complaints about the fact that they are behind on the score sheet tonight. But at 1-0, anything can happen. And they do say the DFB-Pokal, as with many cup competitions in the world of football, that they make their own rules. The do-or-die moments. This is not one of the classic David versus Goliath ties. This is a very evenly matched tie. 2 local rivals, and now Gonzalez. Still going, Gonzalez, blocked by Lienhardt. Appeals for a handball. A reminder again, video assistant not in use tonight in the second round of the DFB-Pokal. So they're not going to have another look at it. Gonzalez there was afforded the freedom of the Mercedes-Benz Arena, and now Lucas Hurler looking to go down the other end. That was a strong challenge from Kempf. Hurler tries to continue. And now Grifo goes sliding in, and it's all getting a bit heated here in the Baden-Württemberg derby, and it's not necessary. Stenzel taking exception to the challenge from Grifo. But it wasn't 50-50, the ball was there to be won. But I have to say, I think Freiburg have every right to feel a little aggrieved that the foul wasn't given against Lucas Hurler, because it was a body-to-body check. But it was at the extreme end of the spectrum, and that's the point that Christian Günther's making right now to Dr. Felix Brich, so too Lucas Hurler. Kempf did not win the ball. He took out Lucas Hurler in a dangerous position, and I think they have a good case for an argument there. But that was not necessary from Stenzel. And what I will say, you know what, I see why Stenzel's taken exception to it, because Grifo left his foot up. But there was no contact made. In these situations in DFB-Pokal ties, cool heads needed. This is what this means to both of these clubs. When you add the fact that this is a do-or-die DFB-Pokal tie to the fact that it's also the Baden-Württemberg derby, I'm sure a few tempers were going to flare at some point. Stenzel and Grifo both go into the book. Grifo for the challenge, Stenzel for the fact that he pushed Grifo, taking exception to the tackle. So we see 1 minute of time added on here. And the problem is we need to see that type of fight from Freiburg when it comes to creating chances, and we haven't enough in this first half. Christian Streich, something tells me he might make a beeline for Dr. Felix Brych when the half-time whistle is blown, because I'm sure he'll want to ask the question of why that wasn't given as a foul against Marc-Oliver Kempf. In Brich's defence, though, he has been consistent at the very least tonight. And there goes the half-time whistle at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. It all got a bit heated at the end of the first half between these two local rivals, but it is Stuttgart who have a 1-goal lead at the break. Sasa Kalajic scoring his 7th goal in Stuttgart colours, his first ever in the DFB-Pokal. And as a result, it is the home side that are looking on course to end 2020 on winning terms. A ticket to the round of 16 in the DFB-Pokal is on offer at half-time at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. The scoreline is Stuttgart 1, Freiburg 0. Well, it's Sasa Kalajic who gets the ball rolling in the second half. It is his goal, the Stuttgart striker, that separates the two sides. The magic of the cup sometimes throws up David versus Goliath ties. Sometimes it throws up big upsets. Tonight, we are enjoying the magic of the cup in the fact that this is not just a do-or-die Pokal tie, but a Baden-Württemberg derby that got a little heated at the end of the first half as well. Dr. Felix Brych, the referee, has been letting challenges go in a bid to let the game establish a rhythm. As a result, players have naturally been figuring out where the limit is. And we've seen some robust challenges, and as a result, a few tempers frayed. Vincenzo Grifo, Pascal Stenzel, both picking up bookings at the end of the first half. It was Grifo that went in on Stenzel with a challenge. Stenzel took exception to it. And in the end, both entered the referee's book. There is Sasa Kalajic, though, the 23-year-old Austrian international. And he will be one of the targets again for this free kick from Gonzalo Castro. Floated in, Kalajic underneath it. And he got a little flick on it, but not enough to really work the angles to trouble Benjamin Uphoff. Sloppy concession of possession there from Christian Günther, and Churlinov's in here, but goes alone. Well, Uphoff spilled that into a very dangerous area, but no takers for Stuttgart. A lively start, though, from the home side as they look to stretch their advantage. Meanwhile, Lucas Höhler, he has had a tough night at the office so far. So little to work with in the first half. Playing as the lone striker tonight, but cutting a very isolated figure. He's full of running, constantly applying the press, but in terms of the service he has received, it has been shortcoming for the Freiburg striker. Really, Freiburg just haven't got themselves going in an attacking sense tonight at all. Just 2 shots, 1 on target. Meanwhile, Stuttgart with 8 efforts, 3 of those finding the target, 1 finding the back of the net. Neat little turn and finish from Kalajic. Here's Wunyon Jong. Again, promising until that final moment. There is Stuttgart top scorer in a very colourful outfit, it has to be said, Silas Waman-Getuka. It was Waman-Getuka that scored the winning goal in the first round for Stuttgart. Here comes Grifo, though. Intricate footwork. Ran out of space in the end. Schmid now in. Santa Maria was up trying to win the header, but didn't make any connection. Well, a mistake at the back and a scare at the start of this second half really has sparked Freiburg into life a little bit more. This is a spell of possession and pressure that we didn't see from them often in the first half. Stuttgart dominating possession. They were the ones generating the pressure. Freiburg had come here with a game plan to absorb that pressure and break in transition. But they weren't having a lot of joy in transition. And ultimately their game plan scuppered by falling behind to the goal from Sasa Kalajic. But Christian Streich, the head coach, has obviously come up with a few positive words at half-time. Unwitting interception there from Dr. Felix Brich, so he has to pull the ball back for a drop ball. Tried to get out of the way. Good effort. Freiburg visibly giving Stuttgart players less time and space on the ball. Very standoffish in the first half. So that's something that has obviously been tweaked at the break by Christian Streich. It was Freiburg that won this encounter on match day 1 of the Bundesliga season, welcoming their Baden-Württemberg rivals back to the Bundesliga. Stuttgart with a 3-2 win. That, though, was their only win in the first 10 games of the Bundesliga campaign. They rectified that with 3 straight victories. It was actually a historical first for Freiburg. Never had they won all 3 matches during an Englische Woche. Literal translation of an English week when there are midweek fixtures between 2 weekends. But Freiburg coming out with 9 points from a possible 9. Very impressive from them. It extended their unbeaten run to 5 games, which is their longest such streak in over 3 years. But right now it is Stuttgart with the upper hand here. Another poor pass, Kalajic doing the defensive duties. So much to like about his game, it has to be said. Yes, tonight he's got on the score sheet. But if you've watched his performance, he chips in so many different departments. There it was in the defensive sense, but very proficient in the build-up play as well. Comfortable with his back to goal, linking up with teammates. There really is a lot to admire about what Sasa Kalajic brings to the table for this Stuttgart side. So much versatility in that front line with Kalajic, with Waman Gituka, with Gonzalez, all 3 players that bring very different qualities to the table. You know, when Freiburg are a goal down and it's the second half, all eyes are normally on Nils Petersen. He has the record in the Bundesliga for the most goals scored as a super sub. 27 times he's come off the bench in Germany's top flight to score, which is an ongoing record. Interestingly, though, he's still warming up. As Freiburg readied 2 changes there. Chang Hoon Kwon was one of them. Didn't quite catch a look at who the second was. But a sign here that Streich not happy with how his side have started this second half, or at least not happy enough. They have been more promising and more positive. Gonzalez looking for the run of Castro. Lead off to Mangala. Lovely strike. Took a knock for his efforts. Plucked out of the air by Uphoff in the end. If anything, there was a little too much slice on the ball. Took the pace out of it. That was at a nice height for Uphoff. Certainly one of the more comfortable saves he's made tonight. Oral Mangala, more than capable of scoring from that type of position. After all, he was the man that scored inside the first minute of a game against Köln earlier this season with a stunning effort from outside the area. Now we see the two changes. The other player is Ermin Demirovic. So Woo Yong-jong being replaced by his compatriot Chang-hoon Kwon. Meanwhile, up front, it's a like-for-like change. Lucas Höhler coming off to be replaced by Demirovic. Didn't really work out for Lucas Höhler tonight. Still just one goal in the DFB-Pokal to his name in what is tonight his 9th appearance. Now Ermin Demirovic on. Came on as a sub in the first round of the Pokal, now coming on off the bench in the second round. Lienhart caught by Klimovic, and third player to go into the book now. Second Stuttgart player after Pascal Stenzel. Good news for Klimovic, as he seems to be showing no signs of the after effects of a bit of an upset stomach in the first half. Brought a brief stoppage to the game when he needed to relieve himself on the pitch a little bit. Demirovic winning the header against Stenzel. Endo closed down quickly, but again, Stuttgart, confidence on the ball in tight spaces and under pressure. So much composure being shown from this young, dynamic side. And it means they're working it well out of pressured situations. Endo holding off the challenge of Höfler. Japanese international, 25 appearances for the national team. He was referred to as a Raumschließer, which translated means space closer. That's his job in midfield, to protect the back line and close down those spaces in the final third. Heavy fall there. Dominik Heinz picks himself up quickly though. Anton won the ball well. Churlinov, the half-time substitute, has looked very lively and looked sharp as well since coming on. It's not a foregone conclusion when you haven't been involved in the play for 45 minutes to come on and be that sharp, but acquitting himself well. Now here is Chang-hoon Kwon. Schmid's cross blocked. Third corner of the game for Freiburg, and with Demirovic on the pitch, they certainly have a bigger target to aim for in front of goal. But Lienhart, Schlotterbeck, Heinz up from the back as well. Headed clear by Nico Gonzalez. Stuttgart worried about the second ball. Skips all the way through to Grifo. Chance to shoot. Cuts inside. Still trying to find a teammate. Santa Maria's shot charged down in the end by Gonzalo Castro. Stuttgart need to be a little bit wary of allowing Freiburg to generate too much pressure. 1-0, it's a fragile scoreline to say the least. And they've had a lot of control on proceedings. They've been the more dominant side. So the only disappointment right now is they don't have a more comfortable lead. Not a game goes by where Nicolas Gonzalez isn't in the wars a little bit. He is a player that opposition teams know the threat he poses. And as a result, someone that gets a lot of attention from opposition backlines. As a result, he ends up talking to the referee a fair bit during a match. It's interesting for a player that publicly talked about the fact that he wanted to leave the club in the summer. Didn't get the move because Stuttgart didn't get a bid that was high enough by their estimations for this very talented young Argentinian forward, 22 years old. Already 5 appearances and 2 goals for the Argentinian national team. And the fact is, he made his desire to leave public. It didn't happen, and yet he's acquitted himself really well this season. Oh, spilled at the back, Demirovic. Well, Fabian Bredlow, he's had a very, very quiet night, and he's got to be careful that that doesn't lead to complacency. That was not a pressured situation. He should not have been spilling the ball at that point. Did well to recover. But those are the types of moments that won't fill his defenders with a lot of confidence. Grifo clipping it towards Jonathan Schmid. Takes a touch, fires a goal through the bodies that pass the post. Just needed a little bit more slice on it. Too pure a connection in the end, as we see another 2 changes being readied here for Stuttgart. Gonzalo Castro set up the opening goal. His job done. Nico Gonzalez not happy about being brought off early. It's Philipp Förster and Borna Sosa, the players entering the fray. Fresh legs are important at this stage of the game. Borna Sosa will replace Gonzalez on the left wing. Meanwhile, Philipp Förster will drop in behind the front 2 of Klimovic and Kalajic. Kalajic trying to link the play. Grifo. Tell you, Freiburg are really starting to generate some momentum in this game, and Stuttgart need to be wary. We're seeing the visiting side take more risks and show more ambition, and I'm sure that will have been a message from Christian Streich, the head coach, at half-time. And his side are executing it just past the hour mark now. Still all to play for in this do-or-die DFB-Pokal second-round tie. Grifo, tell you, one of the best deliverers of the ball in the Bundesliga and in German football as a whole. By his standards, that was shocking. Could be the first to admit it as well. Santa Maria in a pocket of space. Tries to switch the play unsuccessfully. That's lovely play. Grifo closed down. Brilliant challenge by Valdemar Anton. He celebrates it like a goal, and rightly so. A huge moment at the back for Stuttgart. First time we've seen Freiburg combine through the lines, but Kwon took that touch backwards to get it onto his favoured foot, and all of a sudden he was absolutely swamped by no less than 3 or 4 Stuttgart players. As a result, all the avenues were closed and the chance comes to nothing, but they do have a corner now. Gunter takes this time.
Can. Gut, weiter links, sehr gut, wie die Bälle behauptet. Gut, weiter, Junge.
Innen, nein, Website.
Good foot race there, Schlotterbeck sliding in. I'll tell you, there may be no fans inside the Mercedes-Benz Arena, and it is a shame because this is the type of cup gamer, Baden-Württemberg derby in the mix as well, where you really feel they'd have been stoking up the atmosphere. Nevertheless, there is still a palpable tension right now in this game with Stuttgart just one goal ahead. It's a nice play, though, from the visiting side. This is the home side, excuse me. Appeals for a penalty waved away by Dr. Felix Brich. A man who has been in the spotlight today more often than probably he'd have liked. Freiburg, it's not just in their attacking play, but also the way they're pressing against Stuttgart, where they're showing more ambition and showing more intent. Nothing there. Kempf can take exception to it, but Demirovic won the ball cleanly. And that's the point that's being made. They're saying to Marc-Oliver Kempf, it's a normal challenge. There was nothing wrong with it. 50-50, it was there to be won. Demirovic got there first. I think it's Christian Streich talking to him on the sideline saying, you played the ball, just play on, it's so normal. I'm sure he'll be taking that with a bit of a pinch of salt coming from the opposition head coach, though, Marc-Oliver Kempf. And the fact is, he knows Christian Streich, and Christian Streich knows him as well. Christian Streich has talked in the past about how he regrets letting Marc-Oliver Kempf leave. He was highly regarded as a Freiburg Academy graduate, Marc-Oliver Kempf. And you'd think that had he stayed with the club, he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet if he was still there. And that's no disrespect to Philipp Lienhardt and Kevin Schlotterbeck or Dominik Heinz, but Kempf really acquitting himself so well. A big part of why this Stuttgart side have been so difficult to break down. He is a real leader for them. And fun fact about Marc-Oliver Kempf, he takes a cold shower before every game as well. Endo does well. Mangala just behind Klimovic, who then leaves a leg out on Santa Maria. And Brich does indeed pull it back for a foul. You have to say, it was a clever foul there from Klimovic. Just prevented Freiburg from springing into action on the counter. The intensity levels are that of a derby, and they are that of a DFB-Pokal second round tie. A spot in the round of 16 on the line. As things stand, Freiburg set to get knocked out in the second round of Germany's sole cup competition. for the 5th time in the last 6 seasons, and for the 3rd season in a row. Union Berlin knocked them out last season in the 2nd round. The season before that, it was Holstein Kiel. And for Stuttgart, this would represent their first win in the DFB-Pokal against a Bundesliga opponent at the 7th time of asking. A run of 6 straight defeats started with the 3-2 loss to Bayern München in the final of the DFB-Pokal in 2013. Oh, Kwon gives chase, it bobbled dangerously in front of Bredlow. Demirovic first, loose ball, fires straight at the Stuttgart keeper. Grifo though, chance still alive, gonna try and curl one. Bredlow saw it the whole way. Admittedly, Grifo made it quite obvious what his intentions were there. More than capable of pulling an effort right out of the top drawer of Vincenzo Grifo, especially from that type of range. Bredlow will be pleased to have made a comfortable save and to have gathered at the 1st time of asking. Just under 20 minutes remaining of normal time here. Stuttgart looking to put this game beyond reach. Freiburg haven't given up hope of snatching an equaliser and maybe sending this tie to extra time. Stuttgart, meanwhile, we saw readying another change on the sidelines. Daniel Didavi set to come on. Oh, that's a lovely ball through to Sasa Kalajic. He can't get round Benjamin Uphoff. Right idea, wrong execution in the end. It's the first time in a long time, first time arguably since Stuttgart's goal, that we've seen them break that back line for Freiburg. Couldn't do so again there as they tried to work it through tight spaces with Endo. Here is the Japanese international on the ball again, does well to find Mangala. Cutting into space, Oro Mangala on his unfavoured foot. Kalajic on the follow-up, can't get there. It's another good save by Uphoff, but he doesn't exactly get it out of the danger area. Freiburg survived the scare, and now they're coming back down the other end. Grifo taking on Stenzel, and what a challenge that was from Stenzel. He had to get it right. Timing perfect from Pascal Stenzel.
Wechsel in der 73. Spielminute bei unserer VfB Stuttgart.
Another chance to see the opportunity again. I don't think Kalajic had it on to try and chip it over the keeper. He may have just been able to get there, but I think the right idea was to try and fashion that gilt-edged chance by going around the keeper and having the goal at his mercy. Just couldn't get it right, but well played by Benjamin Uphoff, who read the danger well, as we see Klimovic coming off and having a few jokes, I think, there with Matarazzo about his turn of the stomach earlier in the first half. Well, the change that we have all been waiting for might be coming to fruition soon, because Nils Pedersen is getting stripped off and ready to come on for Freiburg. For now, Didavi, lovely dummy. Kalajic, that was so close to working its way through. Incredible interception there from Kevin Schlotterbeck at the last. I'll tell you, the second half, the defending from both teams has been brilliant. especially some of the last-ditch challenges that have been put in at either end. And there he is, Niels Petersen. Don't know, what does Christian Streich really need to tell Petersen before coming on? He's a man that's been there, done it, seen it all in German football. And I think the objective is clear. Come off the bench, tap into that speciality trick of yours, Niels, which is scoring as a super sub. Get us back into this game, give us a chance to reach the round of 16. We'll be coming on for the final 15 minutes, and you've got to think it'll be a roll of the dice as well from Christian Streich. He's already brought on Demirovic, an out-and-out striker, bringing on Pedersen. He'll have two up top. Will it be for someone like Niklas Höfler in midfield, where he sacrifices a midfielder for a striker? Or will Vincenzo Grifo maybe be the man that makes way? Now, Kwon stopped in his tracks by the savvy work of Marc-Oliver Kempf. Lovely combination play there from Freiburg. Kwon again. Cheeky, inventive, but it worked. Unfortunately, Santa Maria going for the back heel. Couldn't quite pull off the same trick. Now time for that Freiburg change, but it's a double as well. It is indeed Vincenzo Grifo who makes way for Niels Petersen. Meanwhile, Baptiste Santa Maria coming off to be replaced by Lino Tempelmann, the young 21-year-old.
Freiburg aus dem Spiel gegangen ist mit der Nummer 32 Vincenzo Grifo, neu im Spiel die 18 Niels Petersen.
So that is the last throw of the dice from Christian Streich. Can it have the desired effect?
Und da haben wir noch den zweiten Wechsel. Aus dem Spiel gegangen, ebenfalls mit der Nummer 8, Baptiste Santa Maria.
Petersen's first touch is to win the ball back for his side. His second, unfortunately, is to give the ball away. I was ready just to praise him in back-to-back moments there, but he let me down. Lino Tempelmann, a Germany under-20 international, 3 appearances at that level. Hasn't had a lot of good luck with injuries, it has to be said. But he signed a contract extension just 5 days after making his Freiburg debut against Leipzig last season. Said he felt the trust at Freiburg. Demirovic losing out in a promising position. Great play by Kalajic once again. I tell you, he's got silky feet for a man of his size. He really does. I know it's a cliche. But the technical ability is something to behold with Kalajic at times. Well, look in the DFB-Pokal history books will show you that Stuttgart have reached the final on 6 different occasions. That most recent time coming in 2013 when they lost 3-2 to Bayern. Gave them a really good run for their money, though, in that final, VfB Stuttgart. Well, So that was the Bayern München side that won the treble that season as well, a historic treble. A side that featured the likes of Mario Gomez, Arjen Robben, Bastian Schweinsteiger, Frank Ribery. Meanwhile, on the Stuttgart side, you had the likes of Georg Niedermeyer, Antonio Rüdiger, Christian Gentner, Ibrahima Traore. Another chance just to marvel at the footwork of Sasa Kalajic. Certainly one of the candidates for man of the match tonight. Thing is, with just over 10 minutes remaining, the urgency level with Freiburg needs to go up a little bit. They've actually taken their foot off the pedal to a certain extent. I think the continuous changes made by both sides with their substitutes has certainly disrupted the rhythm of the game a little bit. But you can see here right now, the intention for Stuttgart is so clear. They're defending with a five-man back line, three in midfield. Didavi's the free roll, he can float. Kalajic the target man. For now, Kwon linking up with Pedersen. Demirovic shoots, oh, it's a fierce effort. And that is the best shot of the game tonight for Freiburg. A real test for Fabian Bredlow in goal. They did well to get something on it. That was struck so sweetly by Demirovic. And that's more of what Freiburg need here in the closing 10 minutes at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Anton winning out against Peterson. Kwon changes the angle. Clipped in by Tempelman. Flicked onto Demirovic. Bredlow gathers. Did have a clean sight of it, I tell you what. It moved right at the last as well. Came off his forearm, actually. But the big question for me is, why did it take 80 minutes of this match for Freiburg to have a chance like that? Where Fabian Bredlow making his first start of the season, they should have been trying to pepper his goal. And he hasn't looked convincing, let's be honest, as well. At times tonight, there have been some nervy moments for the backup goalkeeper. I'd say of the two backup keepers making their starts tonight, Benjamin Uphoff has certainly acquitted himself better. He's had more to do as well, let's be honest. 7 shots on target for Stuttgart, just 4 for Freiburg. That fourth coming just a few moments ago from Demirovic. But for me, they haven't done enough to really probe the vulnerability of Fabian Bredlow, the visiting side. They've still been too timid over the course of the whole match. We've seen promising phases from them, but it's been phases. No consistency, no extended period of pressure. Instead, they've almost allowed Stuttgart to play their expansive possession-based game, which is so not befitting a newly promoted side, but it's so impressive to watch. The confidence in this young, dynamic team. Here's Förster. Didavi. Teeing it up now for Endo, trying to curl one. It's another good save from Benjamin Uphoff. Is that a decent height for him? Wataru Endo still without a goal to his name this season, but then again, it's not what they expect from him over the course of 90 minutes. His job is certainly more on the defensive end. Didavi. Kalajic was up at the near post, but it sailed over his head. Well, the 3-2 loss that Freiburg, the 3-2 win that Freiburg clinched on match day 1 of this season was incidentally only Stuttgart's third loss at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in their 21 home games against their local rivals across all competitions. So it looks like they'll be returning to winning ways tonight and redeeming themselves for that loss on match day 1. For them, this will be a much better note to end on. Bundesliga campaign coming to an end in 2020 with a 1-0 loss to Wolfsburg. Freiburg, meanwhile, last weekend, they were 4-1 winners against Hertha Berlin. A very impressive performance. It was an absolute dud of a first half. Chances few and far between, very little action. The game came to life after the restart, though, with all 5 goals coming after the break. And a look ahead to 2021. Freiburg will be starting the new year with a away game against their other local rivals, TSG Hoffenheim. Before they're at home to Köln on match day 15, away to Bayern on match day 16. And then they close out the Hinrunde, or the first half of the season, with a home tie against Eintracht Frankfurt. And then on match day 18, of course, it'll be the third meeting of the season between Stuttgart and Freiburg. That one will be on Freiburg's home patch, the Schwarzwaldstadion. Well, that didn't look good. It was Oro Mangala that got his studs caught in the turf there off the ball. Freiburg not keen to show any mercy in that moment. They're a goal down, they need a goal here. Mangala is back to his feet now. You can see working his way back, but a little gingerly. Stuttgart need all the numbers back, though. Just under 5 minutes remaining here at the Mercedes-Benz Arena, and the question is, will there be a second goal? And if there is, who will it be for? Freiburg are certainly throwing more caution to the wind, but they're still struggling to really carve out the chances in the final third. Meanwhile, Stuttgart sitting deep, but they look ready to pounce on the counter if afforded the opportunity. In terms of upsets, the second round of the DFB-Pokal hasn't thrown up many of them, admittedly. Greuther Fürth, the second-tier side, knocking out Hoffenheim on penalties last night. That's the only other upset you could maybe claim is Rot-Weiss Essen knocking out Fortuna Düsseldorf. Plucky underdogs going through there as well, but it's a case of the favourites winning out more often than not. In this game, there were really no pre-match favourites. Freiburg trying to keep the chance alive. Kwon, that's floated in dangerously. Lienhardt back into the mix. Oh, glorious, glorious opportunity for Demirovic. He has come on and made the desired impact. He just hasn't rewarded himself with a goal. Stung the palms of Bredlow a few moments ago. But this chance, he was virtually unmarked. A little bit more composure in that situation where he could have had the presence of mind to guide the header on target. Instead, he almost snatched at the opportunity. And you've got to wonder how many more of those types of opportunities that Freiburg will have. Demirovic. They thought about seeking out support in Gunter. Kwon on the overhead volley. Well, a night like tonight, it may take Freiburg something spectacular to get on the score sheet. Kwon trying to provide that moment there. Right off the shin pad, though. Not off the boot. But it does feed into this narrative, I have to say, that for Freiburg, tonight it really was a case of too little too late. This pressure took too long to come. The clear-cut chances took too long to come. The ambition and the willingness to take a few more risks just took too long to come tonight. And it allowed Stuttgart to fashion a lead. And it allowed Stuttgart to let this game play into their hands. And as a result, it is they who are on course right now to book their ticket to the DFB-Pokal round of 16 as we see 3 minutes of time added on. Still time for one or two more chances. Borna Sosa would love to carve one out for Stuttgart to put this game to bed. Endo. Chulinov was indicating he was ready to make the run, but Endo did not want to give away possession too cheaply. It's the right idea in this late stage of the game. Lovely take there from Oral Mangala. Kalajic now gets it round the corner from Sosa. Sosa continues to run. Here is Borna Sosa, but a heavy first touch, letting him down at the vital moment there. Dominic Heinz across to cover. Peterson, he's had so little to work with since coming on. He scored 4 goals in his last 5 away games against Stuttgart before tonight. He opened the scoring against them on match day 1. But he's barely had a sniff at goal since coming off the bench. Kwon was up well there to win the header. Stuttgart do well to close down and stop Freiburg in their tracks momentarily. Schmidt now lofting one forward. Demirovic with the flick on. Excuse me, Schlotterbeck up as an extra striker there. Höfler. Tempelmann trying to clip it over the top. You could see the intention. Have to admit that was going to be a very, very difficult pass for the youngster to pull off. Just hasn't been enough tonight from Christian Streich's side. Pumped long by Gunter. Schlotterbeck digging deep. Gets the throw in for his side. They cannot rest on their laurels here at all, Stuttgart. Meanwhile, Freiburg got to move it quickly. Precious seconds here, ticking off the clock while Schmidt has the ball in his hands. Deflection on the cross, met by Kempf. Kalajic there, tapping his wrist. The signal's being made in the direction of the referee, but Dr. Felix Brecht will blow the whistle when he wants to blow the whistle. Going to be forced backwards here, Freiburg. Just 10 seconds remaining. Left to Uphoff to go long. Schlotterbeck loses out in the air, though, and that should be that. And that is that. A game of stark contrast to the one played out between these two sides on match day 1 of the Bundesliga season, when it was Freiburg who walked away with a 3-2 victory. Today, it was gritty, it was hard fought, it was intense. It had all the makings of a do-or-die cup tie mixed with a Baden-Württemberg derby. But in the end, it is Pellegrino Matarazzo's side, Stuttgart, thanks to a goal from Sasa Kalajic, who have booked their ticket to the DFB-Pokal round of 16. They end 2020 on a winning note. It's been a pleasure to bring you coverage of this DFB-Pokal round. Second time, my name is James Surrogate. Enjoy the festive period. Join us again in 2021, where the Bundesliga action and the DFB-Pokal action will continue to go thick and fast. Score line tonight, though, at the Mercedes-Benz Arena is Stuttgart 1, Freiburg 0.